Good evening. I want to call the Columbia County Board of Commissioners meeting to order on this February the 2nd, 2021. I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Richardson to open us with an invocation, please.
If you would join me in prayer, please. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you, and Lord, we thank you and we praise you for who you are. Thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed on our country and our county here in Columbia. Just ask you to continue to lead us, bless us, guide us in all we do. Lord, we ask you to have your hands on the police and the firemen and all first responders. Lord, we ask you to watch over them and keep them safe. And Lord, we just ask you to be with the men and women that serve both abroad and at home, and be with their families as they're separated. We ask for wisdom and direction and guidance tonight. Things that are pleasing to all the citizens of Columbia. All these things I pray in the precious name of Jesus.
Amen. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Republic. One nation. God. Indivisible. Liberty and justice.
Let the record show we have a full quorum of commissioners. Commissioners, you have the minutes from the previous meeting of January 19th, 2021 in your packet. If they meet with your approval, I'll accept a motion to do so.
Make a motion to approve.
Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Johnson, are we set with our agenda?
I believe so, Mr. Chairman.
Again, just want to welcome you to the first commission meeting in February 21. These meetings are recorded and they end up on the county website when? How long? Tomorrow?
In a couple of days.
Couple of days, so if you feel so inclined, feel free to watch again. Under special recognitions, we have a couple of awards. I'm going to ask Vice Chairman Richardson to step out and give our Employee of the Month, Cowart, and as well as you're going to do the Team of the Quarter. Wheeler.
Tonight, we would like to present the Employee of the Month for December to Mr. Wheeler Cowart. I'd like to read the nomination for him. It is my pleasure to nominate Wheeler Cowart for Employee of the Month. Wheeler is the Erosion, Sedimentation, and Pollution Control Plan Reviewer for the Stormwater Compliance Department. Prior to the position, he served the county as an erosion control inspector. In both roles, Wheeler has proved to be quick to help his co-workers and the development community understand what the rules for them on the site-specific level. While working as an inspector, the department started a new inspection role focused on permanent stormwater drainage. The role requires expertise in reading and interpreting plans, using a laser level, and understanding permitting to a much greater degree than is needed for the traditional inspector. Wheeler volunteered for the role, worked alongside management to get it up and running, and then streamlined the program into success. Since stepping into his current role as a plan reviewer, Wheeler has continued to specialize in his responsibilities. He has all gained knowledge openly, frequently to help grow new erosion control inspectors. Further, he's quick to lend a helping hand to anyone who needs it, and will often do so while sharing a unique story. It is because of these hard-working and team-focused performances, coupled with his daily positive attitude and contagious energy, that I believe he should be recognized as Employee of the Month. Thanks for all your hard work and dedication, Wheeler. Appreciate all that you do for
pretty much all of that. Wheeler, you're an integral part of this team. We're appreciative of all that you do. So thank you and congratulations. You earned it.
I just add that Wheeler's always seems to be in a great mood. Sharp as a tack, knows his job, and always full of interesting, fun facts or philosophical ideas. So it's a joy to have you a part of the division.
Okay, thank you very much.
Now the team of the quarter.
Let's go.
Yeah, some of y'all can come on this side. You're not gonna get in trouble if you come over here. Tip you out there, George. For all the cool people on this side.
Okay, so, sounds like Stormwater's been getting it done lately. We're recognizing Stormwater Compliance Department, for Team of the Fourth Quarter. So I'd like to recognize Stormwater Compliance Department for their hard work by nominating them as the 2020 Team of the Fourth Quarter. This team is an unbelievably critical role in preserving the environmental sensitive areas of this community, our lakes, rivers, streams, forests, wildlife, habitats, etc. These natural resources make our community beautiful and desirable. However, it is easy to take for granted the overwhelming effort it takes to monitor and protect these resources. When a new subdivision or commercial development is proposed, our team gets to work explaining what resources are present on the property, what environmental considerations apply. During construction, our erosion and sediment control inspectors monitor all land disturbing activities for compliance with the approved plans and specifications for each project. It is this team who does their very best to ensure construction projects, silt, sediments don't wash into our nearby properties, leak hazardous construction contaminants into our groundwater, fill in nearby creeks and wildlife habitats, so much more. In fact, they often go the extra mile by reaching out to the builders, contractors, and developers to offer supplemental guidance, clarify standards, and troubleshooting concerns. With all of our growth, it is not surprising, but it is still very impressive that this 15-person group processes hundreds of permits and plans and literally performs thousands of inspections annually. They're good at it. In May 2019, the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission selected Columbia County Stormwater Compliance Department as their first ever local issuing Authority of the Year award, based on our team's commitment to the wise use and protection of our environmental resources. It should be noted, too, that during COVID closure, this department kept running. In shifts, everyone pitched in to sustain the services offered and needed, oftentimes single team members doing the job for several in order to keep the ball rolling for the county. Through excellent communication and dedication, permits were kept up and inspections were completed to keep home construction and development on schedule for our citizens. Because of this, it is with my highest recommendations that the Stormwater Compliance Departments receive 2020 Team of the Fourth Quarter. I also understand something else happened recently that was
So I've been in engineering and construction my whole life, and I cannot remember one time an engineer was like, I can't wait to submit my plans to erosion control. or a contractor was like, oh, there's an erosion control inspector. This is great news. So they play a tough role in the county, but they do it, and they're critical in the quality of life in Columbia County. I, along with, I feel sure everyone in this room appreciates it. And Katie Beth does have some news to share, some recent news.
All right, before that, I just want to say thank you, Kyle, and thank you all very much for this recognition. This is a wonderful team, a lot to us, so thank you. So this is very recent news, and we just thought tonight would be a great opportunity to share it. Columbia County has been a member of the Community Rating System Program through FEMA, or CRS, since the late 90s. This program is voluntary and awards points for proactive flood-related awareness and improvement activities in the community that go above and beyond federal standards. These activities include things such as public education, targeted public outreach, open space preservation, infrastructure inspections, and higher building standards, just to name a few. The more activities implemented equates to more points, ultimately producing a community that is more flood-ready and flood-resilient. Furthermore, our citizens benefit from this program, so the better we do results in a discount in their flood insurance premium. Over the past year, Stormwater Compliance has been working with the consultant and other county groups to include stormwater operations, EMA, GIS, in order to improve the county score by adding additional activities and editing the ones that we already had existing. To facilitate this, in July of 2020, this commission passed a resolution to adopt the Community Rating System Program for Public Information and Repetitive Loss Area Analysis. CRS classification is like golf, the lower the better. We are currently a Class 8, so it was with a lot of county pride that I'm pleased to announce that through our hard work, the county is on track to gain 851 points, moving us up to a Class 6 beginning in October of this year. This is a brand new class level achieved at the county and will also result in our citizens receiving an additional 10% discount for a total of 20% off their federally backed flood insurance premiums. This achievement would not be possible without a ton of hard work by county staff. A couple in particular, Connie Smith, George Eastman, Sean Granado, Larry Hobbs, and Mike Zotter. And also through the leadership and support by Steve Exley, Kyle, Matt, Glenn, Scott, and all of you, our commissioners. Thank y'all so much.
Could I get you to introduce all your members here?
Sure. Yeah, of course. This is Drew Widman. He's an erosion control inspector. Actually, we have quite a few erosion control inspectors. This is Daniel Richardson, Dennis Anderson, Mike Anderson. He's our erosion control supervisor. Marguerite Alligood, public education, especially geared towards youth. Clayton Whittle, our NOT inspector. Tracy Shoemaker, inspector. Connie Smith, our floodplain manager. George Eastman, our stormwater plan reviewer. Steve Abbott, erosion control inspector. Wheeler Cowart, y'all just met him. Plan reviewer, ENS. Rachel Osborne, she is our public education and outreach for adults. And then Emily Glisson, she is our environmental permit coordinator.
Thank y'all, team, for a great job. We really appreciate what y'all do for Columbia County, and well-deserved honor. Thank you.
Squeeze together. Turn sideways.
Up on the.
I was about to take the thing.
Sorry.
Thank you all.
Kyle, I believe you have a recognition you want to give. Is it Peter Mahoney? Peter, are you here? Come on down.
Hey, guys, you want to come up? So Mr. Mahoney is a Boy Scout, recently reached out to the Engineering Division, Traffic Operations, received a call, kind of coordinated this from the start, but Mr. Mahoney had a leadership project, Boy Scout leadership project he wanted to do for the community, and reached out to me, the engineering, several departments, and basically his project that he wanted to take on, which I think Patrice has some photos, was to replace or reinstall missing milepost along Evans Locks Trail from the Savannah Rapids Pavilion to North Bel Air Road. It ended up being a total of 12 posts. I didn't even know there were posts along the trail until Mr. Mahoney approached me, and there was a couple left. You can see the shape they were in. But basically, once Mr. Mahoney reached out to me, we put him in touch with GIS. They laid out a plan of where these should be installed. They staked out the locations of the mile marker post. They called in 811 to mark utilities. And then once we were ready to go, once Mr. Mahoney had all of his materials, Tim Holloway's group with Roads and Bridges set up traffic signs. So it was a big team effort, but it was certainly something that we don't believe would have been done in the near future without Mr. Mahoney. Appreciate him and recognize him in front of you all.
Beach.
I'd just like to say thank you to all of you guys who helped me out. You guys really made this from a very difficult project, looked difficult, to something that was very, very manageable and went smoothly. So thank you.
Thank you for your investment back in the community. You did a great job.
We've had several scouts reach out to us about this. He's the first one to follow through, so thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, you have the consent agenda in front of you. Each item has been through committees and received the necessary votes to be placed on the consent agenda. So if they still meet with your approval, I'll accept one motion to approve them all.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. On to debate. Now, we do have, Matt, do you want to speak to this? Probably good. Probably wise.
Matt Mills, my address is 3009 Lake Drive, Augusta, Georgia. I'm here on behalf of the developer. I'm here as the president of the Homeowners Association and as the chair of the Architectural Review Board. Here in support of this request, I note that the Planning Commission approved it with an amended condition that there be a wall installed that is approvable by the review board and planning staff, together to come up with a better wall design, be more in keeping with River Island. You want me to speak to the actual why we're here today? Is because probably 6 or 7 years ago, when we installed Wimbrel Court, staff had asked us whether or not we cared if all the driveways came off of Wimbrel Court. We didn't foresee a problem with that. All the other driveways on the road here, there's probably 30 some odd driveways that tie into River Island Parkway. I got so many roads I get.
Here's the overhead that shows.
Yeah, so as we go up Marsh Point Road, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses that condition placed on the original zoning that all these houses would be accessed. We didn't anticipate that being a problem. At the same time, we weren't able to mass grade these lots, so we had to deal with what nature provided us. And what nature provided us on lot number 8 is basically a 15 to 16-foot drop between elevation of the road and where the finished floor elevation of this house would go. It's also located in a pinch point on the traffic circle. This traffic circle is designed with a stormwater box in the middle of the island, and for somebody that's traveling down the road and tries to make a turn, then they'd have to make almost a U-turn to get back into a driveway, in addition to fighting the grade changes. So really, the only practical way to have a driveway for this lot is to access it off Marsh Point Road. I think staff had an original concern that houses over here, which are fed by an alley in the back, didn't have driveways along the road, and they went back to the narrative that had basically said, big area of River Island. I wrote the narrative. I knew what my intentions were. My intentions were really the special part of River Island starts here when you go around Grant Park Drive, which is a one-way street, and we didn't want driveways going on to both sides of a one-way street. This is where the waterfront is, and so therefore, we as a developer don't see an issue with driveways being here. At the same time, we were willing to work with staff. Still didn't want to see driveways there. That we would work with a condition to come up with a wall that's approvable by both the developer and the ARB and the home. Next door neighbor here, Knight family, and the next door neighbor here. Both of them have supported this request. They're worried about the congestion in their cul-de-sac. They're also worried about some of the river views provided. The garage was built here. They'd not be able to driving down the road. At the end of the day, we're talking about a driveway, garage that Craig Peel did the design on this. They also involved engineer to design a retaining wall to position garages as far back from the street as possible. 60 feet off the road here, off Marsh Point Road. So it really is the best solution. And the biggest complaint that I get a lot of them from Rowland, one of the biggest complaints I get is that the house that was built here, the McKnight house, which I think it's a nice house, it's an Allison Ramsey design, but it towers over the hill. And it sits up there on top of the hill, and most of the residents don't like the scale of the house. And what the beauty of what Craig has come up with, really designs a house that sits here and ties this house in with this house in the scale. If you were to try to, again, force them to do a driveway up here and build the house up taller, I'm afraid my complaints will go. So I think from an architectural standpoint, architecture of this house blends with the architecture of the house next door. It also, from a scalability standpoint, you're standing on Marsh Point Road, it works with the natural grade. By taking the retaining walls that the engineer, taking the house that Greg Peel has designed and ties them all together so that it looks like it was meant to be that way. This was a very challenging lot. 16 feet between driveway enters and where the finished floor is. Flat in, you'd come in the middle of the second floor. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Planning Commission did have a concern that set a precedent here. This person, and this person would come back and want a driveway on the other side. These driveways, they don't have to have them because these lots are deeper. The developer doesn't see a problem with it because, again, the specialness starts here. The natural place for things to really change is here because that's where our stone wall starts. And when we do the wall in the front yard that planning staff has requested, I think we'll be a good idea to make that wall stone to match the stone across the street, stone on both sides, and it'll look like you're entering a more space. So I think it's all coming together. It's kind of a condition that was put on this section of River Island before everybody realized what it was like at the end of the day. Things always look different on paper than they do in the real. Here we are with the lots developed, this, 3 houses built here. Same time, now that we're in the field, this is pretty much the best way to make this house work. The best way, and there's support from the community, there's support from the ARB, there's support from who are the most impacted.
Questions?
And that's Center Driveway, Center Road with the cul-de-sac, does it look like? How many homes are gonna be serviced by that one drive, by that one road?
Well, I think it's likely that, this hat, 1, 2, 3. And obviously there'll be one less if you allow this to go forward. It's a fairly narrow alleyway down there.
Matt?
Your intent when you presented the original plans was for all of those to come off of,
I will,
Wimble.
so that I'm clear, my intent, I thought it made sense to access this one from both sides. Staff at the time, which is a different staff than we have today, said, well, you've got it alley fed over here. We really want to see you do it alley fed over here. And I'm always trying to work with staff. So I said, okay, I don't know that this is going to be a problem. These got a lot of depth in them. I didn't realize the grade change, this lot in particular, and frankly, didn't realize how steep this one was going to be. Steeper. If we'd had the opportunity to mass grade it, probably wouldn't. Time we developed this, that was right when the big mass grading thing hit the county, and everybody was trying to work with time and try to make the best we could. So this is why you apply for variances. I mean, what was put in the conditions didn't make sense for this lot. It doesn't make sense. Development. Respectfully ask for your.
Matt, can you explain why the staff was recommended it not be approved?
Yes, sir. So there was a couple things that they threw out. One was the zoning, which Mr. Mills has just mentioned. The zoning called for no access from Marsh Point Road. You have investors in that. When I say investors, property owners that have bought into this PUD. Now you're changing it. Mr. Mills did mention that he has support from some of the neighbors. I believe I saw a letter from McKnight family, but I don't believe I've seen anything else. Was there another one?
I think McKnight was speaking for he and his. I met Will in the field.
That was the first one, the continuity of the PUD, of the zoning. Everybody plays by the same rules. We don't change the rules after people have bought into the PUD. Second one, it was that this is a large house that they're trying to put on this lot. It's over 10,000 feet, I believe. There are other ways of doing it. Putting a smaller house on the lot, the right house for it. They're designing it to lay out for a possible pool in the future in the backyard, which they have to have I believe the wall was one of the reasons they put the wall in there, was to make room for the pool. Again, a pool is not a right. A house is, using your land to build your house. Yes, that's a property right use, but say you can have to have a pool, that's not. So that was another issue that was brought up. Conditions were there. The topography was apparent years ago when the roads were built. They knew it was there. So this lot was sold as it sits. The house was designed knowing the topography, knowing the rules. Those were the main issues that staff stated against this one.
Tell me more about the pool. There's a plan to possibly put a pool on this lot as well?
Correct.
That
Very
was-
small lap pool in the backyard.
Right.
The backyard meaning
I mean,
the McKnight's front yard, or the backyard meaning
They're right there.
the Marsh Point backyard? Which one's the backyard? If you put the driveway on
Pool
Marsh
is-
Point, where's the backyard and where's
Well,
the front?
all the houses, the front doors are all the houses will have a front door up here that look like it,
On
whether or not there's a
Wimbrel.
driveway or not. So the backyards would all be off of Wimbrel Court.
Bruce, if you'll go to
And then-
the picture of the road.
That's across, you can see across the street.
That's not-
That's the frontage of the houses, and then the lot would be right behind the trash can there on the
Right, so the house will actually face Marsh Point. This is Marsh Point Road.
So the
All the houses face Marsh Point.
So the front of the house, the front yard is Marsh Point.
Correct.
left. Backyards would all be,
The backyard, so the pool would be up at Wimbrel on top of the hill.
And that's the case for all those lots, all those lots face Marsh Point. All their backyards are on Wimble Court.
I mean, you just said they all face Marsh, right?
Then this house is gonna have garages. How many garages? 3? Did I count 3
Yeah,
cars?
it's got-
4?
Got two separate garages, both of them are two-car garages. You can see one here, and then there's another one that actually faces into the,
Okay, so at least 2 cars, one garage door is gonna face the front, but nobody else on that section of the street will have a garage facing the front of the house. Is that correct? That'll be the only one?
That's correct. If, unless you lift the condition of having to have these driveways off. Not being able to have driveways on Marsh Point. In fact, I had somebody that requested that, and I told them there are challenges on your lot.
Very large house for such, like, how big is the
Well,
lot?
I think that's another thing that this lot leads to, you know, you've gotta have a large basement, but you don't live in a basement, you live on the main floor and then, but again,
Very large house.
correct, but if you were to see it in the field, you realize you've got one sitting way up here and one down
We have
here.
the blue house next door, or is it green, blue?
Blue.
Blue.
This
It's
makes it,
huge.
that's one reason I like it, is because it transitions from one house to the other, and the scale, all these houses are huge in this section of the development, especially you see the one being built across the street. I think
Where
it's-
would the swimming pool be if you put a pool out here? That's
It was
the
described to me
backyard.
as a lap pool.
yeah, it's not gonna be a big one. You can see there's not much room back there. And it's not guaranteed they're gonna put it there. It just shows on the plans as a future.
Future possibility.
That is basically.
Again, all the houses face Marsh Point, so all the back,
Talking about the one that
On this side.
already.
Gentleman here, Mr. McKnight,
Right.
has seen the plans for the pool. He much prefers to see landscaping and a pool and a garage that comes out right here. And I can speak for him. He is strongly in support of this. He's the one, Mr. McKnight is the one that wrote it. Now, the front of his house, pretty side of his house is down from the pool. But the main thing you see from when you drive up to his house to access his house is his garage.
Whoever has a pool there in the future, is there gonna be a fencer? You'll come back asking us
It'll
for a
have to have
fence?
a
You have
fence.
to.
That's
That's part
required
of
by
code.
code to fence it.
Okay.
Yeah. For
Mr.
safety
Schlocker, I
reasons.
have a question about, does our impermeable, surface assessment reflect the new engineering required in the request?
The house would meet the current requirement of 50%. The house itself, yes, sir.
Been no complaints about the garage in the front, other neighbors?
Not to
They
my
don't
knowledge
care.
at all. Again, when you go up and down Marsh Point Drive, there's 35 driveways. It's only these last 5, and there's no houses built on them at all. So, I mean, you could carry on with driveways, and no way would be the wiser. In fact, it would look keeping in my mind. Again, we're dealing with a condition that was recommended 5 years ago. It wasn't something we didn't want to do, but didn't think it was a big hill to die on. Now, I feel like if we turn this down, we may have won a little battle, but we've lost the war. Certainly the lot, or the surrounding property owners. I think the neighbors think this is the best plan. Been well thought out. I mean, the retaining wall ties in with the house that Charles Dolan is building next door. It all has been engineered, crafted to fit perfectly.
Who's here tonight?
Any other questions? Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Mr. Skinner,
Here, I make a motion to approve the request for a major PUD revision for the property located in tax map 081543 to allow driveway access from Marsh Point Road, subject to the conditions enumerated in the January 21st Planning Commission report.
second. Any other discussions or questions? Motion on the floor to approve the design. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Carries 3-2. Any legal matters?
No legal matters tonight?
Requests for review by committee?
No, sir.
Public comments or participation? Executive session, I know we have certain things, we can deal with those in public, can't we? Let's rock and roll.
I make a motion to accept the donation for parcels 9, 10, 14A, and 25A from the city of Grovetown to right-of-way and/or easement for the Horizon South Parkway Road widening project.
Second.
Yeah. Mr. Schlocker,
We left 35, left, required? Is that what you're asking me? So it's just, this is for the widening of the project and donation from the city of Grovetown for us to widen Horizon South. Sorry, I was doing math when you asked the question.
any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
I make a motion to approve $76,700 to SCP Parcel 6, contain right-of-way and/or easement, Horizon South Parkway Road project.
Second.
Big one. This is part of the Horizon South. Again, we do have 35. I did do my math right. 35 parcels to go if you approve this one.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Make a motion to approve $13,714 to Columbia County Development Authority, Parcel 20, to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for Horizon South Parkway Road widening project.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
I make a motion to approve the order to proceed to settle the condemnation for a portion of parcel 077H255, deposit an additional $6,800 in the court's registry, Pierce Ferry Road widening project.
Second.
Matt, are we close?
On this one, yes, sir. This was, actually, we'll be out to bid tomorrow, I believe. This one advertises for construction, but Chris is working on this one. I believe this was to get clear title from an investment group for this
That's
one.
right. Sort of liens on the property.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
I make a motion to approve $700 to Nancy Wall for parcel 068354 to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Nichols Cove Sewer Project.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Make a motion to approve $9,000 to Kimberly Parker, parcel 079080 to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Dowling Drive Sewer Project.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand.
Make a motion to approve $6,200 to Algie Arby, parcel 078A165 to obtain right-of-way and/or easements for the Dowling Drive Sewer Project.
Questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. Seeing nothing left on our agenda, any other motions?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we adjourn.
A second.
Everybody in favor of going home, raise your right hand. Going home.